Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Riverbend Talent on the Big Z, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of the Stubblefield Band, of Mr. Donuts, of Macias Insurance. A sea shanty sing-along already underway downtown Alton at Morrison's Irish Pub. Trivia night coming up in about 5 minutes down to the Conservatory in Alton. Open mic later tonight, 9 o'clock at the Raging Cajun in Alton. The Step Brothers, 7 to 11 tonight at Fast Eddie's in Alton. Cree Rider already underway up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. He'll go till 9 o'clock. Schaefer and Sims underway up at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. They go till 9. Dawn and Sean start up at 7 down at Deutsch Village Inn at Pontoon Beach. Frankie and the House Shakers underway down at Patrick's in Granite City. They'll go to 9. Jeff McGee started at 5:30 up at the Prairie Inn, where the golf carts are gathered around to watch him until 8:30 tonight. In Dorsey, and then Experience Live Music Row underway down there in Belleville. They've got Denver Wade Trent at the Copper Fire going till 9, and Danny Gallagher underway at Benny's Pizza. Sounds good.
Yeah.
In Belleville as Experience Live Music Row continues. That is the star of the show. Saying, oh yeah, Pigpen, pigpenradio.com. He's actually on 2 radio shows at one time. But we're not going to say what the other station is. It's our sister station, but don't flip over because we've got someone cooler than Pigpen on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Way cooler.
And it's Andy Bensman. I mean, Jeff
That's right. His protege.
And
Hi, Andy, if you're listening.
And you got another brother, too.
I do.
What's his name?
It's not Andy.
It's not Andy.
It's
not
Jim.
Andy. Jim.
It's Jim. Jim lives in Hannibal, and he is the drummer for the Glendale Riders.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
It runs in the family.
It does. It does. All I remember about Jim is that I believe Andy took him off a motorcycle with a flying clothesline.
I did tell that story one time, didn't I? I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, that was entertainment at its finest.
Oh, good stuff there, man. So how you been, Mr. Bensman?
Been great.
Jeff Bensman, that is.
Jeff
not
Bensman.
Andy, not Jim.
No, that's right. It's me in the flesh, and I'm going to put my phone down. I was trying to let everybody know that I'm live on WBGZ.
107.1 FM, 1570 AM.
Yeah.
Pick up the stream at AdvantageNews.com.
Yeah. Or check out the podcast at cottonmouth.org. Is there? Yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
See? We're everywhere. Everywhere.
Can't get away from us.
Well, I can't get away from myself. I try. There's just no getting away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So you're back. We have you on regularly, not just because you're an entertaining guy, not just because you're fun to look at, not just because you're a handsome gent, but because you're also an entertaining musician, multiple bands at all times.
I thought it was because we were in a race to see who was on here the most.
Trying to take out Graham Pagano, trying to take out Matt Tall had the record for a while, but I think he fell aside. But I
don't know where he gets his stats.
Yeah, I don't know either. I make it up
He
as I
doesn't
go
even.
along.
He's never watched one episode of this show.
Who?
He
Pigpen or
actually
Matt?
is still trying to figure out if it's even a show.
Pigpen or Matt?
Pigpen.
Oh. He'll never figure it out.
Yeah.
I watched the one with the judge on it.
Oh, you did.
Well,
yeah, because that was
my
ugly. You didn't watch the Bonnie Bramlett?
Oh, I did actually.
Everybody's
I was gonna say I did watch the Bonnie.
You guys had Bonnie
Bramlett
Bramlett
one.
in
Oh
here?
yeah.
How'd you get a hold of her?
See, Jeff Bensman doesn't even know that.
Yeah.
No, but I would like to get a chance to meet her.
Sweet
Hang around with
lady,
Scott and Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they
She's not much for getting out, but if she does get out, it's probably at a Scott and Michelle show.
Well, so Jared, the fiddle player, my son from the fiddle player of the Glendale Riders, he said she rolled into Mojo's Music where he works, and she struck up conversation, and she was sharing all of her information, about her life in the past, and he was like, "And who are you? And you're living around here? And what?" Anyway, so
I mean,
most famous guest we ever had because she is friends with the Beatles, not just met them.
Yeah.
Not like on Facebook
Right.
friends.
Dude,
She gets a call from Eric Clapton. Calls her.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So I just read a story where Bonnie and Delaney were playing in London, and two of the Beatles purchased tickets to go see the show and were excited. They were, they're like, it was like if Harry Nilsson came to town.
Well, they had the Halpin band back in the right around the turn of the 1970s, and which ended up going on to be what
which even
Mad Dog's an Englishman with Joe Cocker and all that, and then Eric Clapton's band and all.
Even prior to that, probably early 60s was when Ike Turner rolled in and took her out. She's the only Caucasian Ikeette ever. At the age of 15.
About 1 week.
Yeah, about
They
one.
couldn't cross state lines with her.
Because the underage white girl that at that time they said no, and they said that there was some confrontations even after the shows that she did with them where people did not like it.
Yeah,
and it's like,
born right here in Alton, Illinois, grew up in Granite City.
Bonnie was. Oh, I was thinking she was from Wood River originally.
Well, she told us born in Alton. You should check out the interview we did with her. We learned a lot.
I should.
And
I actually take her Wikipedia page and see how much of it's true.
Okay.
Pretty much all of it.
Do you know anything about Bo Derek?
Oh, I know everything about Bo.
Well, okay, so
I've got it all written down at home under my bed.
So there's a house on Dunnigan Street in Alton where Bo Derek's grandma lived, and Bo Derek spent time there. I don't know if she was born in Alton and then moved away, or if she just came here to visit her grandma.
Kind of like Miles Davis.
Right.
Kind of like Miles Davis.
Yeah.
Alton's famous for a multitude of people.
Well, we've actually discovered from doing this show that the true home of rock and roll is right here in East St. Louis.
Yeah, right down the road from us, man.
It is?
Yeah.
You want to know why?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I want to know.
Okay, Johnny Johnson. You
Right.
know who that is, right?
Yeah.
He wrote Johnny Be Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one night, his sax player couldn't make it to the gig, and he had seen this kid played guitar, so he called him, said, hey, can you fill in? His name was Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry.
Right? That was in East St. Louis that happened.
All
right. And Ike and Tina Turner.
Are from there too.
Right. And Pigpen will tell you how they invented distortion.
Oh yeah, Ike Turner, on his way down to Sun Studios, they were a whole band and all their gear was in a station wagon, and they're going to Sun Studios to record, and one of the guitar amps fell out. Speakers all messed up, and they couldn't afford a new one, but they got recording time, so they took newspaper, crumpled it up, and put it in the box to hold the speaker up in place, and that was the first distortion that was recorded.
Now,
down
you
in
think of
Sun Studio.
all the blues players that come through St. Louis,
Yeah.
and we know where they got rock and roll from.
Blues.
But here's the thing. When you think of one of the first rock players of all time, which one's gunslinging his guitar around and hopping on one foot? To me, that's the king of rock and roll.
Chucky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, and I mean,
Well, yeah, he
writing his own songs.
He's definitely a pioneer,
Well,
trailblazer.
Well, and if you look at it, like a lot of the cats, they want to give official credit to Carl Perkins,
Bill Haley in the Comets.
Bill Haley in the Comets. There's all these different claims to the beginning of it, but they were all. Chuck Berry had been doing midnight shows at side circus shows and doing the duck walk. Even before him, the duck walk was going on.
Well, I if you're trying to figure out who is the starter of everything, it's almost
Johnny Johnson.
It's almost impossible to really
Robert Johnson.
put a
His
finger
brother.
on it because, at those times when people are doing that, they don't realize that they're going to make history, and so people aren't really keeping that close of track of everything.
But if you take so Johnny Johnson wrote Johnny Be Good on the piano, Chuck Berry takes it with a little distortion on a guitar and plays it, and that was a new sound. Nobody had heard, because we had heard it. It's jazzy when it's on a piano.
I got a recording of Elvis.
Oh yeah, the $1 million quartet: Elvis, Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, and
No, that's not the interview I got.
Oh, well, who you
anyways,
got?
this interview's it's Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis. That's the other one I was thinking of.
They're sitting around talking in the studio. You know what they're talking about? Chuck Berry.
Berry?
Yeah.
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 Well, and the electric guitar was in its infancy at that time too. So once again, they don't realize that they're starting something that's going to go on and have such an impact. I saw Jerry Lee Lewis down in Memphis 20 years ago or close to it, whatever it was, and he was old then too. But man, he was still good.
Yeah.
His band was great, and he still tried to be the entertainer, standing up and kicking the stool out and putting his foot on the piano, all that kind of stuff. And so it was. I'm glad I got to see him.
Yeah. Anytime you said anytime you get, I was gonna say anytime you get to see one of the legends, and there's so many I wish I would have seen.
Well, and like James Brown, they called it Memphis in May, and anyway, James Brown closed the show on a Sunday night.
Nice.
Well, I couldn't stay around that late to see James Brown, but I think that was the last show that he did too. So I missed out on that.
Bonnie told us a story about how James Brown would send scouts up here to watch Ike and Tina, so they could steal musicians.
Yeah,
yeah,
I believe that.
So that tells you how
People
big,
still do that.
That tells you how big Ike was.
People still do that.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So yeah, and then like I said, all the blues that come through St. Louis. A lot of bluesmen talk about traveling from New Orleans to Chicago. They love playing St. Louis because they got a meal when they were here and they got a little money.
Actually got paid in St. Louis back in the day, where most people are just like, you can play and then get on out here.
Of course, Big George Brock can tell you all those stories. You go check him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a shame St. Louis doesn't get more credit for the Bonnie Bramlett there that started this whole conversation. Her voice is on so many albums, and she's
so soulful.
And she even affected albums she was never on, because she sat right here and told us that one of the things she got paid for is they would have a star and they'd have a song, they'd put them together and it ain't working, so they'd call Bonnie and say, how would you sing this? And they'd record Bonnie singing it and give it to the star and go, try to do that. Because Bonnie always come through.
Yeah.
She'd find a melody that,
And I've heard her versions of some of the popular songs back in the day that other people made more famous and probably more money on as well. But anyway, it's interesting to hear how some of these things come to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one of my favorite stories we discovered here on this show, Steve Scorpina, right? Pablo's dog, REO's original guitar player, talks about, growing up with Doobie Brothers lead singer in his
Mike
first
McDonald,
band, right? And the coolest part was him talking about them two hanging out back behind a club somewhere underage, listening to a band called Almond Joy.
Oh, yeah.
Which became the Allman Brothers.
Right. Yeah. I knew that I'm a big Allman Brothers fan, so I knew a lot about their early days, too.
They played up here a lot.
I saw Pablo's dog at Timbalos back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So.
Julia!
Yeah. I think I saw him actually play that song at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Steve is the guitar player. I can't think of that singer's name now. I've met him a few times.
I can't.
He's an interesting fella.
We are talking to Jeff Bensman tonight here on Riverbend Talent, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Mad Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance, and he's a very sexy man too.
And easy to get along with.
And Jeff is here to tell us about his little birthday party coming up on May 3rd down at Mac's Time Out, where he'll be part of the Kentucky Derby.
What?
Aren't you riding in the Kentucky Derby this year?
I'm not running in the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
No.
I heard you were going to run barefoot.
I got a bad knee.
Against the horses.
I got a bad knee. I can't do that anymore.
No, we're talking about May 3rd down at Mac's Time Out. Miles Station going to be there still?
Miles Station's going to be there.
Nice.
We're going to start the night out with BC Homegrown Trio.
All right.
And that's Brad Cummins and Chuck Hirschberg. And then they're going to have a guest drummer, which is going to be Jared Bensman, who happens to be the nephew of Andy Bensman.
Right. That's important.
Not the nephew of Jeff Bensman, the nephew of Andy.
No. He's the son of Jeff Bensman, but more importantly, he's the nephew of Andy Bensman.
Any relation to Mercedes?
Yeah.
Mercedes Bensman.
Kissing cousins.
Okay.
Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Bensman?
Yeah. So, but anyway, we got... BC Homegrown's going to start it out, and then after that will be Miles Station. And Miles Station is going to have a guest drummer as well. And that guest drummer, would you like to guess who the guest is?
It's going to be Jim Bensman's nephew.
No. But you could not be closer. You could not be any closer. It's going to be Jim Bensman.
Oh.
It's going to be Andy Bensman's brother.
Oh.
There you go.
That's right. So drummers are in short supply on May 3rd, apparently. So,
But not the Bensman brothers.
No,
or not the Bensman family.
The Bensmans are going to bail everybody out with their
Nice.
percussion needs.
Nice.
So, but anyway, Jim's going to be playing with Miles Station. They'll be playing second on the bill. Third will be the Lady Luck Band. Once again, Jared Bensman will be on drums. And so after that, it's going to be the Glendale Riders and...
Andy Bensman will be on drums.
No, you're so close. It's going to be Jim Bensman again. So it's going to be a night of Bensman drumming. If you don't have any other reason to go down there, there's one for you there.
The great thing is Jim won't use the same kit, so they're going to have to switch kits after every night. I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just
Oh no, we're into keeping things
right.
less work and more fun.
Kiss. Keep it simple, Stu.
Keep it simple and
So
stupid.
what time does this all kick off on May 3rd down at Max?
6 o'clock. It's Friday night. We're going to start early and get done kind of early too. But anyway, I know sometimes on Fridays people don't want to get out too late because they've had a full week of work. But this time, if you get off work, you can go straight down there, get you something to eat, get you something to drink, and then head out to the street. And that's where the party's going to be, just like it has for the last 5 years. This is the 8th annual, but we haven't done them all down there. We started out at the Sunset, and we just worked our way up, trying to find bigger venues, and it just got to the it's mammoth sized.
Right.
So we had to pull it out onto the street, and luckily Timeout's willing to accommodate. And
Luckily,
thanks to Mac and Rob for having us and putting us out on the street and accommodating everything to make it bigger and better and more wow.
Yeah. It's always a good time, and you've been coming. We've had you on here for years, every year talking about this. But in addition to the fact that your birthday, we have you on also because you play in Lady Luck.
Oh,
and you play, you're always in a half a dozen bands every time I see
There
you.
is another Bensman that's going to be on the stage. I forgot about that.
And
it's Andy Bensman's other brother, Jeff.
who recently did a recording down in Kansas City with BC Homegrown.
I did. That was a great time. Really good time. Good bunch of guys.
And a great album.
Right, yeah. I think it's shooting up the charts as we speak. So, we may be hitting the road, and you may not see us after May 3rd.
No, right. And I did see BC Homegrown. You were not there. I've heard you've been relieved of your duties.
Well, I had a gig with my main band, which was the Glendale Riders that night. So, you've got to keep your priorities in check. Mm-hmm. But it's been, the torch has been passed, and Al Colson's now taking care of things.
Yeah. Is he ever?
Huh?
Is he ever?
Is he ever? Yes.
Very impressive.
Yeah, so, and Al, did I ever tell the story how Al was my first guitar teacher at Halpin?
No.
Back in probably 77, I want to guess.
Wow, that
tells you about how long Halpin Music's been helping out the community.
Yeah, and even before that, because Andy Bensman bought a Martin acoustic guitar from Halpin Music when it was down on Broadway way back in the day.
Yeah.
So
that's going back.
It's like 60 plus years now, right? We did the 60th anniversary down there.
Yeah.
They've been sponsoring this show for going on 8 years.
Thanks, Halpin.
Or finishing up 8 years. I forget which way it goes.
Oh, well,
next month.
Here, let's throw some more names out there. So speaking of Halpin Music, John Hand, who is pretty much the right-hand man at Halpin, he plays in Miles Station, who will be at the Birthday Jam on May 3rd.
Right.
He plays in Lady Luck, who will be at the Birthday Jam on May 3rd.
And at Baker's in Hell Friday night.
That's right, yeah, tomorrow night. And he also plays in the Glendale Riders, who will be at the Birthday Jam on May 3rd.
So if you don't believe anything Jeff Bensman's telling you tonight, just head on out to Baker's in Hell tomorrow.
and hear the same story twice.
And yeah, just confront him. Be like, I heard you on the radio.
Where's
buddy.
John Hand? You said it'd be here. Well, every time John Hand's one of those guys that over the years I've asked him to come on this show a dozen times. And every time it's like, oh, well, that Thursday I'm playing. You're playing every Thursday, dude. But you know what? That's awesome to have a cat like that in our community. That's, like I would see him. He's a Marching 100 alumni, and when my daughter was in Marching 100, I still see him to this day out at the events and stuff.
Yeah.
He's just he's involved in the music community around here. Playing, supporting, taking care of instrument needs out at Halpin constantly.
Yeah.
So
Halpin is a lot of their business revolves around keeping the musical instruments supplied for the schools.
Yeah.
So that all goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And for anybody out there with a kid who's thinking about it, I'm going to tell you, especially if you got like a freshman or sophomore getting an instrument, go to Halpin if you're going to rent an instrument, because you can rent it, and at the end of the 3 or 4 years, you've paid that thing off, man. And you get to keep it instead of going, oh, well, I paid rent for 3 years while you're in high school, but now I got to give this saxophone or flute or whatever back.
It's like a rent to own.
It's a rent to own, and you don't have to sign up and say, well, I definitely want to rent to own. If they're renting it to you and you consistently rent, they consider it a rent to own situation where at the end you can just say, hey, man, how much do I owe? $12.50? Cool, I want to keep it.
Yeah, they'll work with you. They're flexible. They're easy to work with and easy to get along with.
Also, like if you're got a child who's in that band at school or whatever, and your instrument's broke, take it to Halpin because they'll give you a loaner while they work on your instrument. While they fix your instrument, they'll loan you one. So you can't beat that. Just help them because they
Can't beat it with a drumstick.
Can't beat it with a drumstick. I have. So you know what?
It sounds like an infomercial, but we're actually being sincere.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is all like real stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I spent a lot of time at Halpin Music through my younger years. We lived real close to it, so I could walk there, and I'd go there and play all the guitars and amps and just dream of the day when I actually had money and I could purchase stuff for myself and take it home. But I had to sit there and play. And
the days of the sound spot.
Yeah, well, this was even
prior to that.
Yeah, this is when they just had that glassed-in room in the back of the newer building,
right?
And so, or called the newer building. It's the old building now, but anyway, it was before the sound spot when I was taking the lessons with Al Colson. I'd go up there and, like I said, hang out. And I had met a lot of friends that I still play music with, just being up there. So
yeah. Cool. Well, and again, the birthday bash coming up May 3rd, and you a lot of these musicians were sitting your name, and they're going to be there, man. They're going to be down there. John Hand, he's going to be there all night. He can't leave.
Well, you know what, and not just musicians. I started this 8 years ago. It's a celebration of life, if you will, while we're all alive.
Yeah.
As we're getting older, people get sick. People can't do what they used to do, or they just die. And I want to talk with you party and not about you after it's too late.
Absolutely.
So, and hopefully everybody else can have that same mindset and get together and try to enjoy the company of everybody and good music at the same time.
That's
my goal.
Sneak preview Friday night.
Right.
Lady Luck.
Tomorrow
Bakers
night.
in Hell.
Yeah, I get a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a lot of tastes out there. That's a tasteful place.
And get a taste of that bacon jam they got that's on the B&H burger. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Bacon jam. It sounds weird. It's like first time I heard, I'm like, bacon jam.
I've had that before, but I haven't had it there.
So. Oh, they got it on their B&H burger, so.
Hey, you know what else is going on Friday night? They got Perspective Night down there at the Conservatory with Jules Fair and Steph Plant. They're doing a creative circle and an open mic.
Nice.
And that gets underway, I believe, at 8:30. Nate Sickmeyer and Whiskey Dixon playing Fast Eddie's on Friday. The Buzz Tones. There's a band. We need to get them on.
Is Nathan playing with Whiskey Dixon now?
You know what?
Or is he doing like an opening thing?
Here's the problem with Fast Eddie's. I think they just know like a member of each band, and that's what they put on the calendar. Because Nate's playing tonight with the Step Brothers.
Okay.
But they listed it as Nate Sickmeyer when it's actually the Step Brothers. So it's always confusing as to what's going on as far as what Nate's up to, because he's in like you,
half
a bunch
the band.
of bands.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I know that they have a lot of players that come and go out of that little entourage as well. And there's a drummer that has played with them before, and he happens to be Andy Bensman's nephew.
Right. Another drummer.
Yeah, Jared Bensman. He's been there. He's done that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, Buzz Tones.
He has been there and done that.
Buzz Tones at the VFW, if I didn't mention that, on Friday night.
Yep.
Lady Luck, as we mentioned, out of Bakers and Hale and Godfrey from
I know
7
those guys.
to 11. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet there's a Bensman that plays drums in that band.
It is. It's Andy Bensman's nephew.
Yeah. Carrie Lee is playing at one of the newer venues we've been talking about, the Grip and Sip Golf in Cottage Hills from 7 to 10. They're doing mainly acoustic guys there. Dustin Coleman, speaking of acoustic guys, he's going 7 to 10 at Locke's Brick House in Bethalto on Friday. Everhart and Light at the Moose in Wood River from 7 to 10. Graham Pagano, 6 to 9 at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. Money Shot doing a 2-night stand down at Deutsch Village Inn in Pontoon Beach. Strings and Keys at the Neighborhood Social Club in Pontoon from 7 to 10. Open mic at Manhattan's Social House in Granite City from 8 to 11. Little known fact, they're playing at 6 o'clock at the Holiday Shore Marina Bar in Edwardsville. You thought I was going to drop a little known fact there, didn't you?
Hey.
Well, actually, I've got to be honest. I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at my phone, and Steve Schwegel, who's part of the Glendale Riders,
Right.
and he was texting me, telling me that he's listening in right now. So everybody say hi to Steve.
Hey, Steve, what's going
Hello,
on?
Steve.
Here's something that'll jog your memory. Carlos Santana.
Oh.
See, now you're paying attention, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you got it.
That happens when you mention that name.
Is he going to be playing around here?
Now there's going to be a tribute to him. Black Magic at the Wild E Theater on Friday night.
Oh, a
I
tribute
bet
band.
that's fun.
Yeah. Neil Schoen's going to be... No,
Wouldn't
that's
that be
fake
awesome?
news. That's fake news.
Hey, Sneaky's Burgers, which used to be Reese's Brewery,
Yeah.
they're having stand-up comedy.
All right.
We're seeing more of that.
We are. We're seeing quite a bit more
Who's
of
that featuring? Big man?
uh,
I don't know
who-
how to say that.
that. Chris Trainey
Okay.
and 3 other guys.
Okay.
So there you go. Sneakies have been told they are funny. So,
Chris Trainey
you know what
and
they...
3 other guys, Sneaky's has been told, are funny.
Yeah, so you know what? They've been doing a lot of that up there at the... even before they changed to Sneaky Burgers, and more comedy happening. Even at the Mill, they're having one now.
Right.
So happy to see that.
Also on Friday night, Velvet Dawn at the Moose in Edwardsville. Mo Pleasure at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. 6 to 9, Ben Peters at the 1818 Chop House in Edwardsville. The Psychedelic Symphony doing the happy hour at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville from 5 to 8. Acoustic DNA 7 to 10 at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carver. The Crocodile Kings and Riley Holtz and the Lost Cause with their new release. They're playing the Miners Theater in
nice.
Collinsville. And get your tickets in advance for $15 or it's $20 the day of the show. Of course, Experience Live Music Row going on down in Belleville. I skipped over Merge 5. Playing again at Gabby's Lounge inside the Red Top Barbecue in Collinsville. That's a $10 cover. Those guys were fun. We had them.
Yeah, they were. And I mean, 15, 16, 17 years old, most of them. So love to see a young band like that out hitting it.
Another fun band we had on was the Trophy Mules. They're playing at Schlafly's in
Nice.
St. Louis.
Nice.
I'm kind of skipping over some stuff because
Okay.
there's so much going on, but I wrote one down for you, Grateful Fest 4.
Oh, looky there, man.
Yeah.
I got Salmon Creek. My buddy Aaron Cam there in the One Drops. Colt, Ball and Friends. Just played a gig with them last week. Fleetwood and Family. Heck yeah. Josh Hennix. And we practice Santeria. I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's quite
Monk is King.
Yeah, Monk is King, Chinese Connection, Nonstop Reggae, 314, Just Another Dead Band, and that's all at the Rock River Resort, Doniphan, Missouri. That sounds like quite a party going on there for the weekend.
There's a party going on. Speaking of a
Party
party,
going on somewhere.
Friday
of a
night at
party.
Baker's Hale.
Friday night.
Lady Luck is going to be playing 2112 in its entirety.
Backwards, I heard.
Yeah. In reverse.
Yeah. All on tape. Hey,
I'm remembering.
I got here's another event that we need to talk about. This is real important stuff. So
I feel like it is.
June 15th, I know we're jumping ahead quite a ways, but because I don't want to take anything away from the birthday jam, which is next Friday night, May 3rd, down on the street in front of Time Out with BC Homegrown, Miles Station, Lady Luck, and the Glendale Riders. And don't forget, at the end of the night, everybody gets up there and we have a giant
Super jam
conglomeration of all the players and play a handful of songs together just to let everybody know that there's some camaraderie and that everybody can mix and jam together.
Sound man's nightmare. No.
Yeah. Well, we try to keep it to a.
There's 28 people on stage, man.
Yeah, it's not all a guitar army though. So
that could be just BC Homegrown by themselves, like the full unit. Where they got like 6 guys, right? 6,
5, 6, something like that. Yeah.
Depending on if Dave's on stage or not.
Right. Wait, so if we fast forward into June to the 15th, the Glendale Riders are going to be doing our 20th anniversary show.
Oh, nice.
So hard to believe that the band's been together for 20 years, but that will be at the loading dock, and that's going to be an evening thing because usually they have music during the day there, but this is going to be an evening thing. And it's going to be from 8 to 11. And as I mentioned, it's the Glendale Riders' 20th anniversary. So
nice.
Steve Schwegel he's the one who started the band. And so he's had 20 years in there. I've been close to it. I'm probably 18 to 19 years, I want to guess. I didn't, like we were talking with guys from the 50s, you don't realize you're making history when you start it, so you don't necessarily keep real close track of everything, but it's, I'm in a close second place behind Steve.
Nice. And 20th anniversary coming up June 15th.
Correct.
Also want to mention July 3rd, Bluff City Grill.
Yeah.
Fireworks are going on. You're going to be playing at Bluff City Grill.
And they're going to take a back seat to the bands that'll be there that day. So people think they're coming down for the fireworks, but they're really coming down to see Hooky and Lady Luck.
And I heard you were going to do your version of the national anthem.
That's right.
Very close.
That's right. You can't keep a secret around this town, can you? The cat's out of the bag now.
Rumor mills are flying, man.
And then Glendale Riders always do a veteran show, right?
We do.
Hathaway.
At Hathaway Hall. And it'll be on, I think it's the 10th or whatever that Saturday is around Veterans Day. I don't know. I'm trying to pull up a calendar here. Is it okay to look at a phone while I'm on the radio?
You can pull whatever you want while you're on the radio. No one's watching.
Probably going to be the 9th.
You can pull my finger, Big Man.
Well, yeah. Good thing he's closer than I am.
Hey, you know, you were mentioning loading dock. You know who's up there Saturday?
Who's up there? I'm going to take a guess and say...
I'm bringing it up because it's
Jake's
one
leg.
You got it.
Jake's leg. I had a feeling.
Both legs, actually.
Both of
Jake's
legs. Yeah. Oh, what a great time that always is up there. What else we got going on Saturday?
We got the Creatives at the Conservatory, 6 to 11:30. We got City Heat at the VFW, 7 o'clock. Exit 52 acoustic 2 to 6, and Whiskey Dixon 7:30 at Past Eddie's. Beowulf 9 o'clock. They're over 20 years old, easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Third Shoot in Alton though for Beowulf. Tripwire. Paul Steinbrook's probably over 20 years old. 7 to 10 at Baker's and Hale.
I think I played music with him when I was 20 years old.
He was actually born on a leap year, so he's only like 8. No, I don't know. Fake news. Fake news.
He's a fun one to watch, though.
Oh, yeah.
He might be playing the national anthem by Hendrix. Note for note.
Yeah, with his eyes closed.
Right. Spencer McDowell, 4 to 7 at Blue Stem Vodka in Meadowbrook. Joe Dirt. They've been around a while.
Yeah.
9 o'clock at the Pump House in Wood River. And, of course... That's the lead singer of El Monstero in that band.
Oh, yeah. We're from right here in Staunton, Illinois.
Quinn the Eskimo.
Yeah, the mighty Quinn.
We had him on and we talked about gangsters the whole time. Because
that's right,
yeah.
He was, he's originally from Staunton and, right down the road.
Pigpen lost his number, so we haven't had him back. But he's working on it.
Well, is there some sort of a gangsta connection up in Benell. And,
Al Capone.
Owned it.
Why do you think they built a coliseum out in the middle of nowhere?
well, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
They found tunnels under that sucker.
It was a liquor drop-off, man, and during the bootlegging era.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
Apparently they had stills in the mines, is a legend.
Yeah,
Well,
makes sense.
I can believe that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
And
he-
Benilda's always famous for having the ladies, working ladies up there back in the day. Why
Yeah,
do you think a
well-
little town would be,
Well, it
You've
all,
been
it
to
all goes
Benell.
hand in hand.
You ever play the Coliseum?
I did not play the Coliseum.
I've done that.
Yeah.
First gig ever.
No, I
That's
played,
a crazy first gig too, because I played it, but it wasn't no first gig, man.
Yeah.
Some with
I was home from the military and my buddy's band was playing. They're like, get up here with us.
There's what were the places down in like Germantown?
Oh, that was Speakeasy.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
played
Speakeasy.
there.
That was another huge one, man. I
Yeah.
worked with like Foghat there and Head East, and they would have. I remember that stage was just unbelievable. Like 3 stories high to hang the lights on the light bars that were already provided.
Yeah.
But man,
We're going back many moons on that.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but he always had his dress blues hanging up in the office with it open and a gun hanging right next to it. The owner that he was one of those like no nonsense kind of bar owners.
Yeah.
Here's what here's my memory about
It's like
that.
a best up show. We're covering all the best stories that we have.
Have we already done this one?
Oh,
Probably.
yeah. You tell this one every time this one comes up. But go ahead. I know you love telling your stories, people.
Which one was it now?
I
What are
don't
we
know.
talking about? I don't even know.
Talking about the one where
Speakeasy,
Andy
right?
got knocked off the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. That story, too.
I guess we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Hey,
definitely a best of.
And now more of the best of Riverbend Talent.
You know the guitar instructor at Halpin Music, Lynn, right?
Yeah, Flip the Frog,
He's
man.
playing Saturday night at the Refiner with his split band, Flip the Frog.
Nice.
All right.
So there's another story.
Will he be playing the Star Spangled Banner?
He will.
Hey, man, he's got that Eddie Van
Frog's
Halen
version.
guitar.
I was going to say, he might be doing Hot for Teacher or Eruption instead.
We also got Chris Miller and Daniel Floyd down at Sparky's in South Roxana Saturday. They're doing the early show 2 to 6 p.m.
I put that on there for us because they're going by Miller Floyd. Sounds like a different guy.
It
If
does.
you do it that way.
Yeah. And now welcome Miller Floyd.
Yeah, but it's
There's
actually
2 of
Chris
them.
Miller and our buddy Dan.
And then we got Jay Hollinger on Saturday 6 to 9. George's a local pub up in Jerseyville.
Also going on, Jake's Leg up at the loading dock at
Nice.
6. Jason McAtee Trio, 3 to 7 at Grafton Winery Brew House. Denver Wade Trent, 1 to 5 at Aries Resort in Grafton. Backwoods Burden, 3 to 7 at Grafton Pub. Mr. Matt Tall, friend of Mr. Matt Van Vors. Stubblefield band right there.
I'm going to interrupt here. I've suggested several times that the Stubblefield Band be part of the birthday jam.
Okay.
And I've gotten a big fat 0 out of that. So Matt, if you're out there listening, that's a
Get it
dig,
together.
you guys.
See, what you do is you get Matt Tall to play it, and then he'll decide which version of what band shows up. And it might just be Stubblefield. You never know.
Might be.
A lot of times it's Bobby and Matt, the Van Vors of Macias Insured.
Well, Steve Schwagel just loves when Matt does his acoustic thing.
Well, he's
And
doing it up at the Bloody Bucket Saloon Saturday in Grafton.
I've seen him play up there. I think I might have seen 2 of him that night because I was pretty
Was
lit.
it last weekend? He opened for Albert Cummings over at the Wild Eagle.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
that's right.
So, I mean, we better get him quick. He
Right,
is,
yeah,
he
he's
is flying
a
up
rising
the charts,
star.
right?
He's a rising star. But anyway, yeah, it'd be great to have them if it was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a good time with them.
Let's see, Dustin Ruins, 8 o'clock at Patty McDee's in Granite City. Scott and Michelle at Pavilla's, another good pizza place. 7 o'clock in Granite City. The Pete Kreischock Project at Hooch and 16s in Granite City from 7 to 11. David Catini, 7 to 10 at Manhattan's Coffee and Social House in Granite. Squeeze Box, 6 to 10 at the Holiday Shores Marina Bar in Edwardsville. Lanny and Julie at the Corner Tavern in Edwardsville on Saturday. Sweet Bottom, 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. Jillianne Dunker and Mary 5 to 8 at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville. Matt Heaton at Global Brew in Edwardsville on Saturday. How about the 3-piece Spilly sandwich, Pigpen?
Okay.
I think
All
they're
right.
trying to rip your band name off.
Oh, no.
I think you need to have a talk with Josh Wick and say, copyright.
Me and Josh are working together on a couple things right now.
So
We've
maybe-
been talking quite a
Maybe
bit.
you're
So
gonna show. Are you part of the 3-piece Philly sandwich?
not that I know of, man.
Well, you're playing at the cabin at Judy Creek.
But I do like it. I believe Spilly and Sandwich Brothers are going to be doing a show together here. Maybe a couple of them coming up. So
WSIE Music Series opening night. Janet Evra, Tracer, and the Ryan Marquez Quartet
nice.
at the Miners Theater in Collinsville. $15 ticket there. Shrimp Boil, that's not a band. That's a thing. But they got the Paul Bond Band from 2 to 6 at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey with the golf carts. And Girl Scout fundraiser down at the Lincoln Theater on Saturday, part of Experience Live Music Row. Topsy Turvy's part of that too in Kapow. But they're playing a Copper Fire. Emma Noby, Naked Soul at Benny's Pizza. And that fundraiser is Dueling Pianos, 7 o'clock at the Lincoln Theater in Belleville.
All right.
There's the Lunatics, Big Ben, and they're playing at H's Bar in Belleville.
I like
Dustin
that
Coleman.
That's a good name.
I do like that name.
Good name.
The Lunatics.
Dustin Coleman's playing a benefit too at 10:45 on Saturday to 11:30. It's a child abuse awareness parade in Potosi.
Okay.
And then he's going to do the Triple Lakes Winery in Dupo and the Wooden Nickel in Glen Carbon all in one day.
He's got the triple
Good
gig.
for him.
Yeah.
He's ambitious.
Starting early and working late.
He's ambitious.
Yeah.
Another brewery on the mark here, Mississippi Culture in Staunton. And that's Lefty Daytona, 7 to 10 with some buddies. Trophy Mules, our friends at Pat O'Conley's in St. Louis.
All right.
And Ruby Lee, another sold-out show for her.
She seems to be selling out quite a few
She
lately.
does.
Yeah, I think that girl's doing okay for herself.
Cherry Jam on Sunday with Donna Rusk and Teresa Penrose at the Lodge in Lovejoy, picking daisies, playing
Nice.
on Sunday, 2 to 5 at the Flock Food Truck Park in Alton. So a lot of stuff going on Sunday.
Lot
because,
of
the
things.
wineries are fired up as usual.
Yeah.
And, the marina bars open in Holiday Shores. So
Right.
you
All
can
the,
find
all the
it
outdoor things are happening, which means the whole river is starting to pop
Yep.
with more venues opening and a lot of places that just do little acoustic things outside through Grafton and, all the way down the river. So
One of the big ones, though, we want to mention for Sunday, instead of the open mic at the Stagger Inn, they're having a celebration of life for Mike Keller.
All right.
And that starts at 4 o'clock. So all the regulars, because Mike did the open mic for a while, the Stagger Inn. I think everyone's
Did he
done
pass
it.
away?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
Well, it's unfortunate that we're having to do a celebration of life for him afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great?
Wouldn't it be great to have a celebration of life?
while we're alive?
There's actually one of those happening. I can't remember where or when or who. I want to say it's May 3rd.
I think
And
you're
I
right.
want to say that it's at Max Timeout.
You're right.
And I kind of feel like it's Andy Bensman's brother that it's for.
You're absolutely right. You just hit a grand slam.
Mr. Jeff Bensman. Hey, celebration of life. Your annual birthday party, as you say, celebration of life party while you're still here. Time to get all your friends together. Lots of good music. BC Homegrown Trio.
Mm-hmm.
Mile Station.
Correct.
Lady Luck.
Correct.
Glendale Riders.
Correct.
That is going to be a lot of good music. That's all happening May 3rd, right over the hill here from us.
Out on the street.
Out on the
in
street.
front of Timeout. Then Friday night, 6 to 9, 10-ish, whatever it is to take to get everybody in and get their yayas out, play as much music as possible.
Right.
And have fun with all your folks and friends and family, and
Yeah.
hope you come down and join us.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're thinking, well, man, Friday night, I just got off work. It starts at 6. Go straight on down there.
Right.
Have dinner there.
That's right, because if you go home, and then you might not want to get back out. So you just go straight on
just
down.
Go straight there.
And then you can just carry on, and
All right.
you
have
can
to
rest tomorrow.
You can go
the next day.
You get off work at 5. You head straight down to Max. go inside, get a little food, a little something in your belly, get a nice drink, a nice beverage.
Well, they're going
something.
Walk outside.
They're going to have the vendors out on the street, so you'll be able to get
look
food
at that.
and drink on the street.
Right there on the street.
So you don't have to miss a minute of the action.
There you go. Man, all bases covered.
It's going to be action-packed, and you don't want to miss any of it.
That's a wild weekend because you
It
got
is.
Cinco de Mayo on the 5th.
Right. That's going to, and then you got Kentucky Derby on Saturday.
And,
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
Right.
May the 4th be with you, of course. And, we were talking about Benell. Lazy Lester's playing up there Sunday, 2 to 6.
Lazy Lester, I'll be darned.
Called The Cabin.
Yeah.
And, we mentioned the 20th anniversary of the Glendale Riders.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
So does that mean Mr. Schwagel is going to finally come on the show? Hint, hint, hint.
Yeah.
Well-
I just wrote it down. I was like, June 15th, 20th, they cannot refuse.
Yes, I think I might have a little bit of pull, and I could get him to come on here.
Big
Steve.
tries to pull things
Oh,
too.
hey,
But
Steve,
Yeah.
if you come in, I'll give a little pull.
that's June 15th.
June 15th at the loading dock, and music starts at 8 o'clock, 8 to 11 that night.
Nice.
It's going to be big. We've got big plans for a big celebration for the
For the 20th, man.
all the people who are Glendale Riders fans.
Nice.
So it's going
Sounds
to be another big party.
Hey, man, that's the way
So-
to do it.
So fill me in again on July 3rd. Is that just Lady Luck, or we got both of you guys?
It's going to be Lady Luck and Hookie.
Hookie, that's right.
Hookie will be starting out the day, and I guess they start
I've heard of those guys.
4-ish. I don't know for sure. That's their schedule.
Right.
It's secondary to my memory. But
Okay.
and then
I just know what time I'm supposed to be there, and I don't even know that. I have to look it up.
yeah, so
Graham Pagano going to play the national anthem that night.
note for note.
No for note.
Note
Backwards.
So
For note. Right.
that ought to be interesting.
Lady Luck will be there. I think we start at 7, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll take a break for the fireworks. Let Graham play the national anthem
yeah.
again, maybe.
But he's going to
Maybe.
play the Canadian national anthem, so it's going to be way lame.
Oh,
No, I don't.
Canada.
Oh,
Maybe-
Canada.
Maybe God bless America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, so Katie Shear, who's the singer in Lady Luck, has done that in the past during the fireworks. The thing is, it's almost, you need music to go from the beginning of the fireworks to the end, and God Bless America is only so long.
Right.
So-
I'm proud to be an American, and at least that.
Yeah.
There's some tunes you could throw in
Hey,
there.
that's a tough song to sing.
It is, man.
It is. It is. We talked about doing that at the Veterans Show because we always have
Right.
these, patriotic songs or military theme songs or whatever it is that we've tried to throw in with that. And
Lee
so
Greenwood, right?
Lee Greenwood, yeah,
That
that
yeah.
put him on the map for sure.
Sure.
But anyway, trying to sing that song because he starts out low and then he ends up really belting it out. And so, hats off to him.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, man. That July 3rd at the Bluff City we're talking about. Hookie going early. And then Lady Luck giving you 7 until the night is over.
Right.
Only pausing for the fireworks and brief intermissions, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
I need a drink, man.
So like you
Send the
played,
waitress up here.
You played weddings before. You were talking about the playing a song during the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wonderful Tonight, always good,
Played it many a time.
wedding,
Had many a wedding probably.
dollar dance, right? So you got to stretch it out though,
Oh yeah,
especially if there's a line,
I can do that.
right, for the dollar dance. So I'm thinking, God Bless America. Can you stretch that out? Can you improv it? Can you
Yeah.
Grateful Dead that song?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I think we can do that.
And you can kind of tell when the finale starts, so you got to know to jump into the ending, like as the finale starts, because you want to end it right as they all end.
That's when you smash your guitar and
Yeah.
stab the
Well,
headstock into
you
the
want it to
speakers.
feel like when the crowd cheers for the fireworks that they're cheering for you.
Right.
Right.
So
Well, you know what? If I were to do that, or if anybody was to do that, it probably would be the grand finale for the band because what are you going to play after that? You can play the radio then.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild, Woo.
Yeah.
You come back in with some Gordon Lightfoot. I reckon the Edmund Fitzgerald. That'll really bring the party
Yeah, I
up.
was going to say, that's a real party song. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass on that suggestion.
That's a real party song.
Oh, yeah, that'll get the crowd going, man.
Yeah. Hard to party to a shipwreck.
Unless you're on it. And then it's like, well, this is the grand finale. Better drink up, folks.
I found myself years ago walking around the Woody Guthrie Museum in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, whatever. I think it's Tulsa, whatever it is down there, out there.
It looked so pretty though.
Yeah, I found out he was on 3 different ships that were sunk, that in the Navy. And he got away every time. Not only did he get away, but he would also save his fiddle and his guitar every time.
Hey.
Now, wait a minute. Sounds like he's sinking those ships to me.
Well,
yeah. You might not want to get on the same ship as him. So, since we're talking about his military background, I guess this was World War II.
Yeah, and I think his fiddle had it carved in it 3 times, or always drunk but never sunk, or something like that.
Huh. Well, Andy Bensman has a relative who
with a mini bike.
that was I don't know whose mini bike that would actually be considered. I guess
that was all 3 of yours.
It
was a family
do
mini
like
bike.
Those monkey circles on the mini bike out in front of the stage.
or like the Shriners.
Right.
But so Andy Bensman had, he's not alive now, a distant relative who was the tail gunner for George Bush during World War II.
That was close. I thought Andy passed for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
No. I was just talking with him earlier
going
today.
With fake news here.
He said Andy Bensman had a relative, but he passed. And I think me and you both stopped and looked like, wait, what?
You're holding out on
Yeah. So Andy had a relative who
Yes.
passed. Andy didn't pass.
Yeah.
And he was a tail gunner for
I'm not
George H.
I'm
Bush.
not real good.
I'm assuming
I'm
it's
not
George
real good
H.
with my
Bush.
family history, but there was a Bensman that was a second or maybe third cousin. I don't know how close it is, but but he was the tail gunner for George Bush.
And it's got to be George H. Bush, because George W. Bush finally showed up for duty 3 years after Vietnam was over. He's like,
Right.
I'm here, and they're like, it's over, bud. You know.
Yeah. Get an honorable mention.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah. But no,
He was on a
that's
carrier.
a true story.
George,
Nice,
the other
nice.
Bush,
George H. Bush.
Yeah, he was the other Bush. He was on a carrier at the end of one of them storms we did over there.
Yeah,
Right. Mission accomplished.
there you go. Yeah. Missionary accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Dishonorable discharge.
I don't think Gordon Lightfoot was playing on the carrier that day.
That's who I want playing when I'm
Yeah.
on his ship.
Yeah, that's not one that's gonna get the crew pumped up.
Can you picture like one of those carnival cruises and the DJ plays right at the Edmund Fitzgerald?
So it was
That's
like
really
your
the-
great grandpa playing drums for Johnny Johnson the night he invited Chuck Berry up on stage. I mean, probably
No.
a Bensman on drums.
No, that would have been my dad.
Okay.
That would have been my dad. We're not going back that far. No, there's a lot of. Speaking of that, though, there is a lot of music in our family, and but I don't know how far back before my parents' generation, music was something that they did. My mom, she could sing like a canary. So, but I don't remember my dad doing anything. But Andy was the one who got me started playing guitar, and then Jim was always into music too, and so they were both huge influences on me.
Yeah.
So
Nice to have a drummer in the family,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We needed a bass player though, because neither one of us wanted to give up the guitar, and
Right.
Andy and I didn't want to. So
Right.
we were kind of like.
Is that why he knocked you off the mini bike? I mean, we can get down to who it really was.
No,
You're gonna play bass.
No, I tell you what, that was one of my most vivid childhood memories.
Oh yeah, it's got to be so
That was-
surreal to see
And
something
that was
like that.
Andy Bensman and Andy Bensman's brother Jim that were doing this, and man, it was on. It was on. It was
Well, I mean, so if you're on a mini bike and somebody does a flying clothesline and takes you off of it while you're riding,
Well, and then they fought. That was just part of it.
right. That's gonna say there's no way unless you're so hurt that you're like, I cannot continue this argument. You're getting up and going, what? You're grabbing that guy and going at it.
Then the adrenaline's kicking in, and you're not even thinking about if you're hurt or not. It's just on.
Oh yeah,
Swinging
I'm
and
gonna run
kicking
you
and
over with this motorcycle.
fighting, running, then tackling again. It was
out of control.
One of the best.
Yeah,
Nice.
Way better than most backyard wrestling that goes on. I don't know if that's true. I mean, clothesline off a motorbike, that is pretty hardcore.
I don't even know if it was a clothesline. I might have just been an all-out, just diving tackle.
Just to dive him. Oh, man.
It was incredible, though.
Well, see, I assume, in my mind, when you told the story, I think I pictured like a flying clothesline, because if you tackle someone on a bike, there's a good chance you're landing partially on that motorcycle. Where if you clip them with a flying clothesline, they're going to land on the motorcycle, and you're going to land on the grass and be able to jump back up pretty quick. You didn't catch a hot motor to the
I couldn't
thigh.
tell you exactly how that went down, but I'm just telling you it was intense. It was intense. But Andy Bensman will most likely be there at the birthday jam on May 3rd also, and he'll get up there and play a little bit with the musicians as well, probably at the end of the night when we have the big grand finale.
Possibly some avocados there.
Grilled
avocados.
Yeah, they have to grill them, yes.
That's the only way. It's the only way to have it.
Nobody wants to eat them raw.
Right.
So again, man, May 3rd.
Guacamole sounds like something you yell when you're on fire.
Guacamole!
That's right.
Holy guacamole!
Okay.
Did you see that?
That's George Carlin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does a whole bit on foods with weird names that he won't eat.
Oh.
Yeah.
It goes on for like 3 hours. It's great. Nah, I don't know. I'm just
All right, I guess we're running out of material. We're stealing George Carlin stuff.
absolutely.
Now, so.
But again, let's just mention a couple of quick things. First of all, July 3rd.
July 3rd, Hooky and Lady Luck at Bluff City
Grill.
Same night as the fireworks.
June 15th.
June 15th, this is a big one. This is the Glendale Riders' 20th anniversary show. It will be at the loading dock in Grafton from 8 to 11.
Nice.
So you want to get there early if you're going to try to get a seat, because it's going to be well attended.
Packed, yeah. And then May 3rd.
May 3rd. Hey, that's even closer. That's like next Friday night, isn't it?
That is days away.
Days away.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what day this is, but it seems like that's just days away.
You're right.
One day away, though, is tomorrow night, Lady Luck.
That's Baker's. I was going to say
right.
that.
Yeah.
May 3rd is the birthday party at Time Out, the celebration of life at Time Out with BC Homegrown, Mile Station, Lady Luck, and Glendale Riders. That's all May 3rd, right over the hill. And then just tomorrow night,
Baker's and Hale with Lady Luck.
Hale with Lady Luck. So, man, that's just a few of the things you're doing. You got plenty of gigs on the in-between. That's just naming the closest one and 3 big ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yeah. And Katie's going to be back tomorrow night. Katie was out last month. She had some of this stuff that's going around, and so she wasn't in the any position to sing. So, but she's going to be back in full force.
Nice. So,
We missed Katie. She hasn't been on the show in a while.
No, she had to go and have a kid, and she's got mom duties.
Yeah, I get it.
So she should just give that up. It's just like, I mean, come in here and give us some of those black bean brownies. That's way more important than raising kids.
That's what it's all about.
Another 15, 20 years and she'll be ready.
No, happy to hear that. Happy for her. So, hey, buddy, thanks for coming down, man. Sorry we got a little bit of a late start. We're running a little bit over.
Redbirds won, though.
Yeah, Redbirds won. So, it was all worth it.
That's important.
Yeah. So there you go. Everybody's
got some uplifting spirit.
Oh yeah, I'm jacked.
Between the winning Redbirds and
all
the information they just got about all these upcoming shows.
Oh my gosh,
we're celebrating life right now.
Pigpen always uplifts his spirits before he consumes them.
I lift the spirits up and they drain on down.
As long as his arm isn't broken.
I'm gonna need some help over here. So big thanks to Jeff Bensman, our guest for the umpteenth time. Always a pleasure to have you whether it's
Great.
down here, whether it's, wherever I see, always fun conversations.
Well, the next time we're going to have Steve Schwagel on here with us, and
Yes.
we'll talk about this 20th anniversary that's going to be coming up.
We know you're
Right.
listening,
Yep.
Steve.
Yep.
You know you want to
He better
correct.
still be listening. I mean,
Yeah, what else would he be doing?
We-
There's nothing more
We
important.
lost his attention. It could be the end of the show. We'll have to rethink this.
There you go.
What
Hey,
we're doing.
I'm rethinking what I'm doing May 3rd because, I think I need to get there earlier than what I was planning because 6 o'clock is the kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid there's going to be lines for the food by then. So I'm suggesting everybody goes right after work, right at 5. Head straight down.
Oh,
there.
don't do that. You need to get there at that time.
Oh, that's right. That's
Tell
right.
everybody else
Yeah,
to come a
no,
little
you
later.
guys, you
Yeah,
guys
come
should
at
come
5:30.
right at 6, man, because there's not even going to be anything happening until then, and I want the lines. No, hey, everybody, seriously, get down there. May 3rd, time out, celebration of life, celebration of
Have you ever
music,
been,
celebration of all of that.
Have you ever been with a band that played too loud at max timeout and didn't get to finish the set?
They were stopped because they were too loud?
Well, we hear the story. And, he has a right to do that. I'm not knocking it.
No,
We hear the story. You've been around for like 80 years.
I don't think I was.
Yeah, I've
Was I
heard
in this
multiple.
band?
No, I just heard multiple stories of through the years Mac saying, "Hey, turn down or get out."
Right.
To bands that came in just pumping it, and I think a lot of those may have originated back in like late 80 type era, late 80, early 90.
I wouldn't want to get kicked out of there when Cowboy Bob Orton was the bouncer, though. Did you know he was the bouncer down there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he was. He told us.
All right. No, I never got stopped. I remember one time I was setting up and I was playing, and Mac happened to be standing right there in front of us talking to somebody, and he turned around and barked at me about being too loud, and I go, "It's not as loud as it's going to be later on when the full band gets here." So
This is just me, bro.
yeah, how about if I just stop and go get a drink, and then I'll come back when you're done talking.
That'll work.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Seriously, May 3rd is the celebration down there. Time out. Again, June 15th, Glendale Riders out at the loading dock. 20th anniversary. Get there early for sure. And then July 3rd at the great place to see the fireworks is from the deck right there next to Bluff City Grill, where you're going to have Hookie and Lady Luck playing. My friend Jeff Bensman playing in all of these bands at all of these events. And again, thanks for coming down, bud.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Halpin Music for sponsoring us for so long. Thanks to Matt Van Voorhis, who's been sponsoring us almost just as long. They allow this nonsense to happen. So big thanks to them.
But don't blame them. It's our fault.
No, it's our fault. They're
Yeah.
they're just nice enough to sponsor. They're trying to help the local music scene.
They're sponsoring our guests. They're not really sponsoring us.
just so you know.
They're
Don't
just
hold it against them.
promoting chaos.
Right, promoting chaos. All right, so everybody, thanks for listening. Everybody, remember to get out and support local music and art.